What's up, everyone? FF Dev here, and for my roadmap to becoming a software engineer, I got the first homework assignment that I gave. First thing that you're going to want on your portfolio, but because I've already done this before, I'm not going to do it as simple as you did it. Let me look on my notes here and see what I put. For the first one, I put write a text-based console game or app. You know, you can make an app. I'm a game guy, so I made games. But I'll just show you what it does here. It's real simple. It's not fully complete. It's just a prototype to show what I'm doing, you know. It says, please enter your name. So I enter my name, FFDev, and we have a bug there on that. I will have to fix that. That is all right. I can fix that after the video. I didn't test with any spaces. So for now, no spaces. But you enter in your name, whatever you're going to do. It says type 1 for run, type 2 for heal, 3 to search for supplies. And it says I ran from the fight. You know, you can keep doing it. Same with heal, search for supplies, and 4 to quit. Real simple, but what makes it look good in a portfolio isn't that not what it's doing, but it is I showed that I understand how to do it. So I used a lot of good software engineering principles. I created a game called Zombie Game, zombiegame.run. I used headers and everything. So let me get straight into that. So here in the game header, I created a random number generator. There's the run function for the engine. That's the init, the random number generator, which I don't use, but I do show that everything's here. I also created a storage container for zombies if we use them, created a player class, chance encounter, player actions, player options, and remove dead zombies. So a lot of this isn't used, but it's in there. So let me get to the game CPP file. So in here, this is just how I init the random number generator. I'm just using the C library, the srand, and let me see, what is it? The cstdlib. Also, I'm using algorithm in here for some things, but I'll get to that when I get to it. So first thing I do when the game runs is it initializes the random number generator, tells you to enter your name, and then it gives the player class as a player name field. As a string, it gives it to the player. So now what I'll do is, let me see, is running is set to true by default. The way I initialized it, it's always important in C++ to initialize your variables to something because it can sometimes be true. Like it's supposed to go to false, but it can sometimes be true or false if you don't give it a value. So I set it to true. So right now, when it's running, it's calling this function, which I never actually decided to add that in because my next assignment is going to be creating an actual 2D or 3D, whatever you feel comfortable doing game using a low-level framework. So see if I can show you this right here. Well, actually, this is what I'd use algorithm for. But this right here will remove zombies in the algorithm. And how you use this is a vector function, but you use algorithm. So you use array since it's std remove if. You put the beginning, the end. And this right here is going to be the zombie Z that we're taking. And it says if the health is equal to 0, then it will remove. This is a lambda. So that's just I've never used this before, but that's how you set it up. This looks kind of ugly right here, actually. To make it fully complete, I put it up there all on one line. But that's one way to do it. There's all other ways to do it that you could do it. Here's my player options. I separated things separately just to keep my code organized, so where it tells you to enter in stuff. That way when we start, I'll just call player options. It tells you what to do. You send in your choice. I just put it where it adds a new line. And basically I check to see if the choice is valid. If the choice is not valid, it tells you to enter in the choice again until it's true. And then from there, we have a switch statement. So it's only going to pick one. And it's going to go through these, and I added some notes where it can be modified. To like actually have it do stuff. Besides this one does something. This actually closes the game. This one, can be modified to use the random number generator I created to create a chance to search for supplies and then search for supplies if it hits the numbers. So by doing that, like, you could just, for instance, if you wanted to, you could just say before you break, then you could just paste your code in here. That's case 3, or you could just add, whatever. That way you just have the if statement. But let me get to the player class. How I separated this. Here's the header. The player has health, hand damage, has a player name set to default by default, has an attack, a take damage function, a heal function, and a pointer to a current weapon, which is null pointer. Which right now it says if current weapon is equal to null pointer on the attack, meaning you don't have a weapon, you're going to do hand damage. That's just how much damage you do with your hand. Else, you'll take the current weapon, get damage, and I'll show you the base. This is where I use some inheritance polymorphism. So this is the weapon header. Just the base weapon header. There's nothing in the CPP file. So this class itself is meant to be inherited from, so it's a pure virtual function only. Pure virtual class functions on it. Yeah. However you want to say it. So first I put this destructor as default. Just like this virtual destructor weapon equals default. Then its functions are virtual int get damage, and you always put const equals 0 because we're not modifying any variable with it. We're just returning a variable, and that's why we put const. But I do believe I could actually just do this, and this will be fine. But so I'm trying to use best practices since we're not modifying anything. This is just a const. That is too. It helps with the compiler and gets named. So now I will show you a weapon that inherits from it, how it's used. So here's the baseball bat. You just create your class like usual, baseball bat, except now it inherits with this colon here, public weapon. And now int damage equals 25, weapon name equals wooden bat, and it has the same functions that weapon has. Let me go ahead and close that so I can keep these. Try to keep this clean as possible. That way we can see what we're doing. All right, so weapon here has a get damage function for integer, and this one has a get name function. So I just create those same functions here. Get damage and get name. And it returns the name and it returns the damage. So now you can have a weapon, and why that's handy is, like I said, on the player. Let's see. On the player right here, we do have a current weapon. So now this current weapon, because it's a weapon pointer, even though these inherit from it, because the baseball bat is inherits from weapon, which is a weapon. So now it can go into here. So I can have a baseball bat, or I can have this crowbar. Either one of those can be a current weapon, because they can always go into like a storage container of their base type. I guess that would be the right way to say it. And the healing item, I will show you that. It's the same thing. And I created a bandage. Let me see. Here it is, nothing much to it. And I actually put this in the header file, which is fine, but I could have probably put it in the other one, but that's all right. But the crowbar, healing items, we have first aid kit somewhere in here. Same thing as the other. Works fine. But this is it for what I got for this. But the next assignment assign will be harder. If your project didn't look like this, that's perfectly fine. You're still learning, still taking notes. Not the best public speaker, but I'm working on it. But yeah, whenever I run my game, let me see where it's at in main. A lot of files in here. I just include my game, and then I just create a game. I just named it zombie game. Then we call the zombie game run function, which I had showed you in game, which is just literally right here. And that's how we have a game loop, which goes by choices, and we can make actions happen. And this could easily be modified into a full-fledged text-based game. But I'm not trying to spend too much time on this. I'm just wanting to show that I know the principles and how it works. And I look forward to seeing you guys' assignments. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, join in and be sure to share what you got. And when you join, you originally won't have any roles. I have to check to make sure, there's a valid person. I make sure that now we don't get bots in here by the way that I check it. So yeah, we're keeping it bot free. And once you get in and I verify you're a person, send me a message when you get in, and FFdev on there, of course. But once you get in, we'll get you the role, and you'll have access to all the resources I put together and the assignments. And if you follow this, you'll be ready to become a software engineer. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.